What's going on? Luca Hocevar back here with my man, Thoracic Flex. That's what we really call him. And today's edition of, let's just call it the Coach's Corner, right? Let's call it the Coach's Corner. We're going to go over something. Actually, a bunch of people brought it to my attention that I should shoot this video because there's a lot of people asking about it. So, the people that train here and start going to the gym, doing exercises, and people are like, what the hell are you doing, right? And they have a pretty good understanding of what it does. So we're going to talk about thoracic mobility. So just think upper back mobility, right? Now, I want to kind of go back first and talk about why it's so important and how in literally pretty much almost everyone that comes in is something that can be improved and that will help shoulder function, get people out of low back pain, a lot of different things. And here I'm going to exaggerate and showing, when somebody does not have a mobile upper back, right, and we're stuck in this position, right? So you want to call it thoracic kyphosis, right? But you get the shoulders that are protracted, that are forward. You get the hump, right? And what it creates, and you usually get a forward head posture, right? And what it usually does is it creates a bigger S curve, right? So now my low back is usually more loaded. So if I'm doing stuff overhead, I'm basically loading my low back up too. So there's a number of things that it's really like improving thoracic mobility helps. Number one is shoulders and neck, right? If you ever want to just test, you may feel like, hey, my shoulders are not mobile, right? They don't have good range of motion. But if I push my head forward and round and try to get my shoulders up, this is as high as they'll go and that hurts, right? So my shoulder mobility is not a problem here, right? Because as soon as I do this, right, now I have way better shoulder mobility, right? So think about it that way, right? It helps with the shoulders also, right? If we can improve thoracic mobility, we can also improve the position of the neck. And the neck, right, every inch basically forward from this midline, every inch forward makes the head weigh double what it does in this position, right? So you get a lot of like cervical pain, neck pain, and this just ends up stressing it, especially we start lifting, right? So if you think somebody that wants to lift overhead, and you guys saw us do that pressing video, right? And we're in this position, you're going to finish here, you're going to get all the stress in the shoulders. If you try to go overhead now, you get all this low back pain, right? So improving this thoracic mobility, right, really helps. It also helps, and what we're going to talk about today is getting rotation here, right? So we want rotation either coming from the hips or from our thoracic spine. Our low back, not so much, right? There's a reason why we get more rotation capability in the upper back as we do in the low back, because that's how we're built. So we want core to be strong, hips to be mobile, thoracic spine to be mobile, lower back, trunk to be stable, right? So what we're going to cover today with Theo, and we're going to go through some drills, is what we do, and obviously we can only cover so much, but what we do to address thoracic mobility from different perspectives. Now, number one, which is where most people go like, wow, how come? It's breathing, all right? So we're going to do a breathing drill. We do a bunch of different ones, but we're going to just go over one today to show you how much breathing affects your thoracic mobility. It affects a lot of other stuff, and we'll do a separate video on that. But, right, if we breathe shallow, which most people do because you're under stress, if you're very stressed and toned like you're going to breathe shallow, right, it's 20,000 repetitions a day of shrugging, forward head, right, and it gets basically tight and stuck because we never really take air in fully like we're supposed to, okay? So the diaphragm actually attaches to the upper back. So if we breathe properly, it will actually mobilize, right, our upper back. So our first step is going to be breathing, all right? So with Theo, what we're going to do, we're going to use this bench. You can do this against the wall, but it's going to be easier when we just do it on this bench. Actually, let's pull it in a little bit more. All right. Theo's going to lay down on the ground and put his feet up onto the bench. Right? Usually we want to kind of get that 90-degree angle. You can slide back a little bit. There you go. All right, so I'm going to go on this side, bring him in a little bit more so you have that. Bring the feet in. There you go. All right, so in this position, what we're going to end up doing, he's going to flatten out his back against the ground a little bit, but not brace his abs. Now, my goal for him is going to be to breathe all his air out. So you're going to see Theo breathing all the air out, not aggressively. As he's doing it, he could do this himself. He's going to guide his rib cage down a little bit, right? Once he has no more air in, he's going to breathe in through nose and go out again. So you can see every time he's breathing out, he's guiding his rib cage down, right? So his rib cage is going to be level with his hips. When he can't blow out anymore, he's going to take it in through nose. And you can see it fills the belly first and then goes up. So it's diaphragm, belly, mid-rib cage, and then it goes up into the chest, right? That's how your breathing should be. So we're going to have him do 5 or 6 breaths. And you can see every single time, you can see how it's opening up more and more and more and more. Because he's actually learning to get that rib cage down, which allows for basically that breath to go all the way down and then come up all the way, right? All the way up into his chest. You'll see it start filling up, mid-rib cage, and now it's going all the way up here. So that was about 3, okay? All right, thanks to you, appreciate it. All right, so that was about 3, and here's the thing. On the 5th breath, what's going to actually happen is, number 1, he's going to take in more air than he's ever taken in, right? But it's going to fill up belly, mid-rib cage, and then it goes all the way up here. It's called apical expansion, right? But we don't want apical breathing, which is this. Okay, so just doing that breathing drills, most of the time we'll get some people out of pain because the nervous system kind of calms down a little bit. We get more thoracic mobility. There's a lot of great things that happen. So that's our step 1, all right? Now, to take it a little bit further, we're going to go back down on the ground again, but I wanted to pick up these little, they're 2 tennis balls stuck together, right? You don't have to, if you don't have them stuck together, you can just put them together. So what Theo's going to do, we're going to put them, right? So I'm going to show on my back. You're not putting them on the low back, so you're putting them right where the thoracic spine starts, okay? So remember, lumbar spine, low back, we're going to put them right where the thoracic spine starts. Now, there's 2 drills that we can do here, right? Number 1 drill is going to be, we call them like basically crunches. So we're going to, same thing, you're going to get some anterior core activation here. I get that rib cage down. Now he's going to get his hands up, and Theo's going to reach up and then come back down. So what's happening is those, right, those 2 tennis balls, they're kind of winding around his thoracic spine. So he's keeping his abs tight, and then we're mobilizing his thoracic spine. You can see he's a little bit unpleasant. All right, so now he's done about 4. He's going to slide those balls up just about a couple inches, right? And he's going up a little bit higher. Same thing, he's going to stay tight here, reach up. And what he's trying to think about is like letting his spine roll over the balls. So his abs are staying tight, spine, and his spine is rolling over the balls. Right? So he's going 4 or 5 reps. Boom, we're going to take it up again, move it up a couple inches, and he's going to go again. So this, right now, it's right in between his shoulder blades, reaching, thinking about letting it roll over that thoracic spine. All right, 1 more. Come up a little bit more. So last 1. We're going to do about 4 different positions of 4 to 5 reps, okay? We never go onto the neck, right? We never touch the neck. Everything stays below the neck in that thoracic spine area. Now, imagine now, just come up just for a second, right? So that's one of the drills where we start, like I said, getting movement in that thoracic spine, but we keep our abs, our core tight so that there's no rounding, right? We want to keep this tight and mobilize this upper back area. That's why we're going 1, 2, 3, 4 positions, right? Now, what we're going to do, another thing, we're going to go right back, and we're just going to show 1 position, right? We're going to go down here, put it in the thoracic. You can do the same thing with 4 positions. He's going to bring his knees in, right? And same thing, we're going to engage that anterior core, right? Keep that nice and down. He's going to lay back. Now, what he's going to do, he's going to go and alternate shoulder flexion. So he's going to come up, right, and go above the head, and then do an aggressive breathe out. And then breathe in through the nose. right? He's going to breathe in through the nose while he's still up there. So he's going to go right here, breathe everything out. All right, keep it up and breathe in through the nose. And then back down. Right, and we'll just do 5-6 reps per side. So what's happening there, once again, that thoracic spine is getting mobilized while we're going into shoulder flexion and breathing out and getting that rib cage in the right position. Right, and a lot of times, thanks, bud. So a lot of times you'll see, I mean, even just doing those drills, how's your shoulder flexion feeling right now? Right, because Theo's pretty tight in that thoracic spine, which is a great reason and a great example why, you know, we can go through these drills, which is going to be cool, because we'll go through them, and you'll see he'll have a lot better shoulder mobility. In that breathing, his arm actually didn't touch the ground, so it was a little bit of a bent elbow. That's part of the reason for it. So those are two awesome drills. You just need 2 lacrosse balls, a bench and a wall, and we're just drilling breathing drills to open up that thoracic spine. All right, now here's another great drill that we're going to use a foam roller. You could, at a gym, if you're at a big box gym, you'd use a couple of steps that are this about yay high, right? So we're going to do that. I'm going to move this a little bit, Theo, right? So Theo's going to get his knees close together, and he's going to sit down on that roller, right? Basically going to be in that squat position, but lean forward a little bit. So get your knees close together. There you go. All right. So in that position, you're going to reach here. First, we're going to have him blow in through the nose and fill his belly, so his belly should push against his quads. Now he's going to aggressively breathe out and then reach forward. Good. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. All right, take it in through the nose again. And breathe out. And reach, 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 reach. So you never let it come back. So basically what he's doing is filling his belly, but it fills up, and then he's actually going to fill this area and mobilize his upper back, and he's reaching again. So we'll do like 3, 4, 5 breaths. He never comes back, right? And what that's doing is expanding, that breath is coming up, expanding into his chest, and he's mobilizing this area. He wants to keep pushing his knees together, like that can be a little bit of a compensation. And breathing out. And trying to stay relaxed, and like you see, it's pretty tough for him. And break, right? And breathe, standing up. All right, test your shoulder flexion a little bit, see how it feels. and like before we started, that was probably about 2 inches on the down. So we just did breathing drills. He's already more opened up. His nervous system is actually kind of down-regulated a little bit too. So those are the breathing drills that you can use. This is all stuff that you do, right? You foam roll, so you do your soft tissue work. Then you do these drills. Then we'd go into, like I said, our dynamic warm-ups. But we also want to work some, like literally some thoracic mobility drills, both for extension and rotation. So a great one, this is a perfect example. We're going to bring this bench back a little bit. It's called Spine Mobilizations, okay? This does a couple of things. So Theo's going to go down into this quadruped position and grab this PVC pipe. You can use a stick, you can use whatever. Okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to slide back a little bit. There you go. He's basically going to be kind of set up like he's going to do a barbell curl with the PVC pipe. Okay? Now, first I'm going to explain what we're trying to do. Okay? When we're going to do this, we're going to lengthen the tricep and the lat in that position, and then breathe out so we get the rib cage down, right? Because a lot of people stay here, so we're gonna work thoracic mobility with the breathing. We're gonna lengthen the lat and the tricep, which a lot of times can keep us, right, protracted and keeping pulling those shoulders down, right? So Theo's gonna sit back into his heels. So as he's doing that, he's gonna curl basically the PVC pipe. He's keeping his neck nice and neutral. Right now, in this position, I'm going to have him breathe everything out. And take it in through the nose. And come back up. You're getting pretty tight here? Right? So you'll feel a big stretch in the lats. In the, so like for instance, I can get it all the way back, but you can see that Theo, when he sits back into his butt, when he starts curling, right, he can't get it all the way back. Now, in this position, breathes everything out. And takes air in, so he's getting that ribcage down, then he takes air in through the nose. And I can feel it filling up here, and then he's going to come back. And break. So basically, we do about 4 to 5 reps. And like I said, hey, you know what? After every drill, you guys saw where he was at. All right, let's do another shoulder flexion. Right? I mean, you can see where he was last time. He's getting a little bit every single time. Because now we stretch those lats out with the rib cage down and the triceps, and he's getting more range of motion. Okay? So this is a great drill because he's doing multiple things at once. We're working on positional breathing. We're working on, like I said, we're working on thoracic mobility through breathing too, lengthening lat, lengthening tricep. All right? Now, a couple of these are pretty, well, we're going to start on a ground-based one. I'm going to move this again. We're going to do a sideline windmill. So some of you may have seen it's like Theo's going to be turned this way. So you're going to go down on the ground, Theo, and going to get this knee up, put the foam roller right here, right? My bad. All right. So this leg's straight. We're going to get the foam roller up here. So the foam roller, right, is here so that if his knee doesn't collapse and his low back doesn't get rounded, right? So we're nice and stable here, right? So Theo's we could do another foam roller under his head, but today we're not. So he's going to get both of his hands up, right? Now, he's going to follow his hand, right? I'm actually going to go on this side. He's going to follow his hand over and look at it, okay? And he's going to open up from here, right? So keep opening it. Sometimes it's good to guide. Good. All the way. And now bring it back up, back forward. So now you're just going to come across. Boom. So that's called a windmill. Now what we want to look for, so here's, if he was doing it wrong, he would open up and let his shoulder glide, right? So pop forward. We want to move from the upper back. So he's looking at it. So we got a nice straight line here. And he's feeling a stretch in the pec here. Big stretch in the pec, coming back. So you don't want that shoulder to come forward, right? You want to move with the upper back and have your neck and shoulder come together. So when he's opening up, sometimes I'll guide. If somebody's not doing it, I'll guide it so the shoulder's not coming out. Feeling that big stretch. And then coming back. So same thing, right? Because so his core is nice and stable. When he opens up, let's do one more, Theo. He's opening up, right? His lower back's not moving. Everything's from his upper back. His shoulder's not gliding forward. And coming back. Nice. Good job. Right? So we're getting basically that. We're keeping this core stable like we talked about before. And then we're getting all this upper back mobility going. All right? Now, that's a great drill. We're going to run through a couple pretty fast. This is just a standing, like in a hip hinge movement windmill. Okay? So I'm just going to go over this one myself real quick. So I get into a hip hinge position. I sit back into it. I breathe out, get my neck into neutral. And from here, I'm going to follow my arm and open up with my upper back. Right? So same thing. My shoulder's not falling forward. My goal here, my belly button is facing the floor. So my abs are tight. My hips are not moving. Everything's going from the upper back. Come here. And you can see on the right side, tighter, right? And I'm following it. Same thing, we can do 5, 6 on each side. Keep it controlled. And last one that we're going to go over today is going to be a Spider-Man lunge. So Theo's going to go into, this is where we start integrating, for instance, in our team training. Let's get this side up. So we're going to go into Spider-Man lunge. Get that knee locked out, fire the glute. So we get into hip stretches here. He's going to be nice and tall with a neutral neck. Now he's going to reach over with this arm to tap mine. So we're going to get some rotation there. And then he's going to open up. Same thing. He's going to open up through the upper back. Keep that core tight, that glute firing. We like to breathe out at the top a little bit and come back. And reach through, tap, open up, open up, open up, and open up. All right? Nice, and break. All right, another integrated movement that we love to do in like any type of team training and our warm-ups is that's integrated. It's a yoga push-up, right? I mean, you get a lot of different names for this one, but we'll go from the side. Go into that push-up position, Theo. All right, so from just a regular push-up position, We won't go into coaching it too much, but we kind of want to push the ground away here. Keep that core neutral neck. He's going to push away into his hips. So he's going to push his hips up into the air, right? And from that position, you can see obviously he's getting a hamstring stretch. We're going to try to get him in between his elbows, keep a neutral neck, and then breathe out in that position. So he's breathing everything out, taking it into the nose, and coming back down. Right? And then we're going to take a normal breath and come back up. Push his hips up into the ceiling. So he's going to push him up that way. He can stay on his toes, that's fine. Pushing that ground away, breathing out, and coming back. And break. Right? So we could also integrate and do a push-up if we're doing like dynamic warm-ups. But there, like I said, we're getting that mobility, we're getting in the overhead position with our hands on the ground, it's a little safer, right? And then we breathe out. Get that rib cage down, open everything up, and get some positional breathing going. Right? So, as you can see, quite a few different drills. You don't have to do all of them. I'd say like this, if you have a very tight thoracic spine, spend more time on that because it will, I promise you this, you do some of these drills and see how you feel in your next training session and test your range of motion, see where you are, see how you feel. And there'll be a huge difference. And remember, a lot of these drills are working on multiple aspects. Like the breathing part helps with more than just thoracic mobility, but it does help with that thoracic mobility. And if you want to improve it, like you have to start with the breathing. So we start with the lowest level stuff. You guys saw we started on the ground, right? Breathing drills, staying on the ground, and then going, standing up and integrating more movements, right? So take some of this stuff. Like I said, take 3, 4 drills, 5 drills next time, put it into your warm-ups. And if you do this every single day, just within weeks and definitely within months, watch how much your performance improves and how much better you feel and are moving from the right places. All right, so Coach Luca, Theodorus Flex, Vigor Ground Fitness Performance, and we'll see you next time.